All right, we are back for another Ohio State test standard review. Today we are talking about standard 8.G.5, which has a lot to do with angle relationships, parallel lines cut by a transversal, which I know during class was not a very popular topic. I get it. I'm hoping that we can make it more palatable with this video. So let's get right into it. Question 1, a diagram is shown. Create an equation for z in terms of x and y. So that means that z is what we're going to be solving for, and that means that x and y should be somewhere in your equation. So let's talk about what we know. We know that a triangle has a total sum of 180 degrees. Okay? That means that x plus y plus whatever this angle is all adds up to 180. Okay? What else do we know? We know that right here is a straight angle. A straight angle adds up to 180 degrees. So this is also 180 degrees. Okay? So now we have to look at what's in common. Okay? This angle that we don't even have a letter for is in common. Okay? But we know that it's equal to, at the same time, 180 minus z and 180 minus x and y. It's the same thing. That just means that z is equal to x plus y. Let me give you an example. Okay. Let's say that this angle is 50 degrees. Okay. If this angle is 50 degrees, that means that x and y have to add up to be 130. Because there's 180 degrees in the triangle, and we're using 50 of them for this angle, so x plus y has to equal 130. We also know that since this angle is supplementary, because it's a straight angle, that z has to equal 130. Because 180 degrees minus 50 means that z has 130. So if z equals 130 and x plus y equals 130, that means that x plus y is equal to z. In the same way that we did substitution during system of equations, we can do that here. We're taking out the 130 and subbing in z. So that's how that works. Parallel lines R and S are cut by a transversal as shown. What is the value of x? Okay, there's a lot of different rules for parallel lines cut by a transversal. Remember, just some of them. We had alternate interior angles. We had alternate exterior. We had corresponding. We had same side. We had vertical. We had a whole bunch of them. So the rule that I see most people like to use is corresponding. Because corresponding is easy. You split this in half down the middle. So like that. Parallel to the two parallel lines. And see how this is on the left side of the little plus that it's making? That means that this is also 64. Because that's a corresponding angle. They're congruent. Now at this point, we have a straight angle. It's supplementary. Supplementary, remember, means that they add up to 180. Okay, so what x is 180 minus 64, which if you want to just go to your calculator and check, which you can absolutely do, 180 minus 64 is 116 degrees. That's it. A figure is shown. What is the measure in degrees of the missing angle? Okay. So there is a lot happening here. And this is even taking me like a mental second to look at this. So here's what we know. We know this is a right angle. So this is 90 degrees. We know that a triangle has 180 degrees in it. Okay? So we know that this angle and this angle will add up to 90. So we talked about a whole bunch of buzzwords. And one of them was vertical angles. And what vertical angles is that it's angles opposite each other on an intersection. Okay. So this angle would be a vertical angle with this angle. Vertical angles are congruent, which would mean that this angle is 50 degrees. Okay. So now, knowing that a triangle has 180 degrees, we do 180 minus 90 for our right angle. That makes another 90. And we have minus 50, because this is 50. And we get 40. So your measure is 40. Yeah, that's just a situation of knowing what a vertical angle is. So if you have like an X crossing, this and this are congruent, and this are congruent. So, alrighty. Line C intersects parallel lines M and N as shown. What is the value of X in degrees? You're not going to believe this. We're going to solve this very similarly to how we solved the last parallel line cut by a transversal. You can, if you wanted to, cut this in half. And then you see 120 is on the lower right. So its corresponding angle would be right here, which is 120. And then this is a straight angle that adds up to 180. So 180 minus 120 would be 60. So your angle would be 60 degrees. Another way you could look at this, one of the other fun buzzwords we used, was same side interior. Same side interior. So these are angles that are on the same side of the transversal on the inside of the transversal. These are supplementary, which again means they add up to 180. So either way, you get 60. A diagram with line M parallel to line N is shown. Express the value of Y in terms of X. Okay. So, here is how we do this. We know that Y plus 3X plus 10 equals 180. Why? Because they're on same side interior. Or if you wanted to look at it the other way with corresponding angles, because people love corresponding angles, this is in the top left of its intersection, so it would be here. It would be the top left here. And this is a straight angle. Either way, these two angles add up to 180 degrees. So now, we just have to solve equations to get Y by itself. First step, we're going to move the 10 over. We move the 10 over, you get Y plus 3X equals 170, as that cancels out. And then we move the 3X over by subtracting it. And if you need more practice on equation solving, I go into it a lot more in some of the other standards, particularly like 8.EE.7, 8.EE.8 has a lot of equation solving in it. So if you need practice on equation solving, I would look at those standards next. But yeah. So you get Y equals negative 3X plus 170. And that's your answer. Parallel lines P and Q are intersected by a transversal R as shown. What is the value of x? Guess what? You're not going to believe it. It's the same way as all the others. I feel like a broken record here. Okay. Yeah, let's use a different rule. This is on the inside. This is on the inside. These are on opposite sides of the transversal. So these are alternate interior angles because they're on opposite sides of the transversal and they're both on the inside. Alternate interior angles are congruent. And now this is a straight angle, which means it adds up to 180 degrees. So the value of x is 180 minus 30, which is 150. So the value of x is 150. And you're done. All right. Those problems all felt very repetitive, but I tried to use different rules in each area to get you used to the different rules. But yeah. So that's going to do it for this standard. I'm back with more standards. Until then, thank you for watching and good luck on your state test.